Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am here at Floor House to talk to Mrs. T Weddings about all things wedding planning, what to do before you book your wedding planner, what the process is like and all that good stuff. So make sure that you go ahead and hit subscribe and notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any more of this beautiful interview series, and we will chat in a second. Hello, so welcome back. We are just going to chat all things about how to book a wedding planner, all the process, just letting couples know what they need to do and kind of what to have prepared and stuff. So my first question for you is, what should they have prepared before they approach you?
They just need to be engaged. They just need the question to have been popped. Absolutely nothing really. We can establish in those initial conversations all the things that I need in order to make sure that we are going down the right track. But really it just needs to be an engagement, and you want to get married. If you've got an idea of time frame, perfect. If you've got an idea about budget, brilliant. But if you don't have those things, not to worry, we can figure them out together.
That's amazing. So how early should they book? You've kind of answered that a little bit anyway, but if they obviously don't book straight away after their engagement, how kind of early before their average date sort of in the future should they book you?
It really depends. If I think about on average, people probably book me about a year to a year and a half before their wedding. Much further than that, absolutely no problem. You can book, because there's when you go into your wedding planning, there's something that you'll very quickly realize, which is some suppliers such as yourself and myself can only do one wedding a day. So you need to secure that date in the diary of the professional that you want to be working on your wedding. However, there's some other suppliers that can do multiple weddings on the same day, so it's not quite so integral that they get booked as early on. And so, if there is a date that you want to have as your wedding, then it's, wise to always get in touch with those suppliers, such as your wedding planner or photographer, as early as possible to get that date secured in. Yeah,
that totally makes sense. So what is the kind of booking planning process with you? So not just booking you, but then kind of step by step what you do from that moment on towards the main day.
As soon as I receive an inquiry, then I will get in touch and suggest we do a phone call, preferably over Zoom, but it can just be a call. In that, we'll really get to know each other. And for me, I've mentioned this before, but it's so important that there's that bond, that we really have a relationship. And, I really do become the couple's friends, and, it's so important to me that we feel as strongly towards each other that we want to really be a part of each other's lives. And I'll be hearing some of the most intimate conversations that this couple have, and I'll be there, as they're getting dressed and things like that. I'm going to be there for those personal moments, and so it's very important that we have that relationship where we really are the right people for each other. And by no means will I be the right person. I always feel like you need to figure out who is your person before, like every photographer, there's lots of photographers. How do you choose which one's the right one for you? You need to find someone that you can build that relationship with and that you're going to respond well to on the day, and also that you like the work of course. And so that's the same with a planner. Think of it in exactly the same way. So then once that relationship's been built and you feel that we're the right I'm the right person for you and the way that I works for you, then we'll get you onto the R Planner, which is the cloud-based platform that we use to manage the weddings, and then we'll start planning. So if you're at those very beginning stages, it'll start with a venue search, looking at what venue you want. And if you're very set on time of year and or a date, or you're very set with budget, then that makes it a little bit easier, because then we can just look for things with that availability. If you haven't got a clue and you really don't know what you want to do, which, my goodness, so many couples come to me with absolutely no idea, no problem at all. We'll go to tons of different types of venues, we'll check them all out, we'll see what you respond well to. And it's really interesting as a couple, I will leave the couple to kind of walk around and to make their own comments, but I'll just be keeping an ear and listening to the comments that come up. And some of the things that people mention are things that you'd never have mentioned just in normal everyday conversation. I had one couple recently where the groom turned around and was like, you know what, I really don't like low ceilings. There's something about them, I just don't like them. Fair enough. Okay, that's easy. That means that we can then wipe out a whole load of venues because they've got low ceilings. We'll only look at the ones with high ceilings. And so it's just little things like that can really make a difference, that you only really figure out once you really spend time together in those venues. Once the venues are all booked, then we move on to those key suppliers. like I mentioned, those ones that can only do a wedding on, one wedding a day. So the photographer is one of the first suppliers that will book, entertainment, caterers, the hair and makeup, and then it's really getting onto the bride's dress if they're wearing a dress, and so figuring out where they're going to be getting that from, because there's usually quite a long lead time, especially given the current situation. And then things kind of progress from there, things like cake. So cake, is one where sometimes they can do more than one wedding in a day. So it's not quite as essential. Florist is one that sometimes they only do one wedding a day, some do more. So again, that could be one that's pretty early on to book. So we'll go through all of this process, and then as soon as we get to the point of having a wedding structure, then it's much more down to the details of confirming the guest list and all those dietary requirements and things like that, communicating that out to suppliers, inviting suppliers to use our planner with us so that they can see exactly what we're working with, putting together table plans, things like that. Yeah. And then on the day, in the build up, I'll be there, the week before, kind of helping, holding hand, making sure that emotionally and physically we're all okay, and then execute all the plans as we've put them together, whether that be the day before, the day of, and then day of, I'm 100% there until it's the right time to go. And sometimes that means clearing up the same night. So some venues you've got to be in and out on the same day, and so that means staying there until the last person leaves, and it's just you and a security guard at the end.
So we're just going to move on a little bit now onto Sweet 15. So you've got this initiative called Sweet 15, which is all to do with wedding planning in the times that we're in now, where we're very restricted on how we can do the wedding. So can you just let us know a little bit about how that started, how the idea came about, and then what it kind of entails if someone was to book a Sweet 15 with you?
Sure. So obviously, with the pandemic, with COVID, we have had a real halt on normal weddings, and normal being what we've all been used to in the past. And initially they were stopped, and then they started, and then it was restricted numbers, and then they were stopped, and they started, and it was all over the place, and nobody really knew what was going to be allowed tomorrow, and I think we still feel that anxiety about quite a lot of our things. We don't know when we're next going to be able to go out for a meal, but we do know that it will happen in the future. And then in September, Boris announced that 15-person weddings were going to be around for a while, and that was going to be the restriction until the spring. And so I was like, well, actually, we've been given a little bit of a time frame now to play with planning. The concept of being a planner at the moment is the most bizarre concept, because you can't plan anything. But we could kind of get a bit of a gauge that we were going to have 6 months of 15-person weddings. So with that in mind, I thought, right, let's put together an offer to get people married, because I think a lot of people were really sick of putting their lives on hold, and the stop and start, they'd rearrange, they'd postpone, they didn't want to cancel, but they did want to get married, they did want to get on with their lives. Marriage for a lot of people then means the start of a family, and people are getting married a bit older now, and so for lots of people there were lots of reasons why they, for religious reasons, they really wanted to get on with their lives. So I felt like there was a real void of people feeling like they could just get married, and also, as an industry, I love supporting my fellow wedding industry suppliers, and I felt like there was a cry for help from the industry of, I want to be doing weddings, but I can't. How do I reach the people that want to be getting married? What's the message I should be sending out to them? And, it's very difficult to play it correctly, what the messaging from any business should be at the moment. But I just thought, let's just send out a really positive message to anybody who wants to get married, and to any suppliers that want to be doing smaller weddings. Let's put you together and make it happen. So Sweet 15 was based on that concept. 15-person weddings for £15,000, and that included everything. So this isn't just a quick go to the registry office and a quick meal at your local pub. I absolutely know those weddings have a place, and they've been fantastic over lockdown as well. Everyone should have whichever wedding is right for them. Sweet 15 is much more about making sure that you still have a utterly fabulous day with those that are absolutely closest to you, in a COVID secure, safe environment with the most fantastic suppliers. And the suppliers are offering the most insane discounts. You know, I was speaking to one dress designer the other day, and you can have a bespoke gown with a 25% discount at the moment. And she'll be able to do it in a very short time frame in order to meet the requirements that you have, probably because it's going to be a shorter time frame, your wedding planning process. And you know, lots of venues are offering wonderful deals, such as where we are today, which is Floor House, which is absolutely stunning. You can have up to 30-person wedding in the home. That isn't possible for their normal wedding process. You know, ordinarily it's a marquee venue, and suddenly they're opening their doors to some of the most gorgeous spaces, which I'm hoping you're going to show everybody later, because it is just so beautiful what's available to them. So the Suite 15 includes everything from rings to champagne to the dress to the venue to me to you. You know, whoever it is included to get you married in a really beautiful and wonderful way. And it's all planned by me. It's all, you know, it's all my responsibility. I just need to make sure you get married. If, you know, I'll make sure all your deposits are safe. I'll make sure that, you know, it's all done very safely. It's meeting all legal requirements. And if you know, have any anxieties around that, you just need to speak up and we'll get those resolved very quickly.
That's absolutely incredible, and I know that a lot of couples, I've definitely first-hand experienced couples that I've done weddings with this year, last year, where they've like you say, just wanted to get married, just wanted to get on with it, have already had to postpone over the time where we were in complete lockdown. And so as we are able to do 15-person weddings, it's just a beautiful way to be able to have that amazing celebration. And like you say, they can have a small wedding now and have a bigger party on their first anniversary something, can't they?
Exactly. I think the sequel party is going to be
huge. Another party,
exactly.
Isn't it? So,
another dress, another pair of shoes, the whole thing. Be fabulous.
Why not?
Exactly.
Can I just pretend I got married last year
and
have another wedding next year?
Exactly. And also, I think, you know, the other thing to mention is it's scalable. So, you know, the 15 isn't going to be forever. You know, things are going to change gradually. And so, you know, if rules go to 30, let's hope they do soon, then, you know, we'll be able to, it'll still be called Suite 15 because we've got the brand name, but, you know, it will be a scalable model and it won't go for 30 people to 30 grand. It's just, you know, we'll look at all the different elements and, you know, we'll bring it into a similar type of budget.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, because I think I know a lot of couples will have set aside their budget for their wedding, and where they've had to postpone, they do still want to kind of save a bit for the sequel party as well. So it's lovely that they are able to still have a stunning day. And I've seen some smaller weddings last year where they've had like incredible massive floral archways and things like that they would have never been able to have because they wouldn't have had that budget for the flowers for their 150-person wedding.
Exactly.
So I think it's really, really just a really beautiful initiative that you've kind of started up, and like you say, it's supported so many people like myself and other people in the wedding industry as well. So
just sending out those positive vibes that you know, weddings will never stop. You know, they might be put on, you know, a pause, but they're not going to stop. And let's keep them happening, and let's keep them wonderful, and let's keep them joyous and incredible.
Yes. Most definitely. So my last little thing I wanted to ask you is just, have you got any advice for the couples out there who maybe have just recently in this time over Christmas and New Year's got engaged? What's your advice for them?
Oh, I think, you know, you've really got to take a deep breath and not be overwhelmed. Everybody will be asking you what your plans are. Everyone will want to know, when are you going to get married? What are you going to do about COVID? What are you going to do about a venue? Do you want to get married in the UK? Are you going to go abroad? There's so many questions that will be fired at you, and what you need to do is just take a deep breath, let them be questions, don't feel they have to have answers, and really take your time to figure it out as a couple, just the two of you, what it is that you really want. It might be the first time that you've spoken to each other about what your wedding should look like, and you might be quite surprised by what each other want. And so take that time, set, you know, apart from all the other people, all the other voices that are going to be infiltrating you, to really speak up and speak to one another about what it should look like, how it should feel. What do you want your guests to go away feeling like after they've been at your wedding? What do you want the repertoire to be afterwards about your wedding day? And then you should be able to start planning something and finding the right suppliers that really match that ethos to give you the wedding of your dreams.
Amazing. Right, so can you just let everybody know how they can get in contact with you if they're interested in booking you as a their own wedding planner, and we'll say why.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's mrstweddings.com or on Instagram Mrs_T_weddings. Thank you.
Incredible. Thank you so much for joining us here at Floor House today, Constance, and we'll see you really soon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.